everybody, Maven here, and today I will be showing you all of the commonly used speedrun techniques in Destiny 2 on controller. Now, I'm sure there are controller tutorials out there of all of these speedrun tricks individually, but I thought I'd compile them into one video. These are the commonly used tricks that you need to know to grind Destiny quickly on a daily basis. But with a little added bonus, I thought I'd throw in bubble skating at the end. It's not a commonly used trick, but I just put it in there anyways. Now, once you have mastered all the techniques I'll show you in this video, you can then use these techniques in more advanced and unique ways in different kind of scenarios. So, for example, if I teach you well skating, you'll be able to use well skating for then well bouncing and ground skating and so on and so forth. So if you want to learn about some advanced techniques, a channel I would highly recommend is G Miners. G Miners does a lot of great speedrun tech tutorials. Albeit those tutorials are for M&K, but you can just kind of use your imagination to translate them over to controller. So without further ado, let's get to it. Don't forget to drop a like if it helps, and I hope you enjoy. So what you're going to need to do all these tricks in this video is, of course, an eager edge sword and then a Sparrow with the perk Destabilizers. Any Sparrow with Destabilizers works, but I highly recommend the Always on Time because it has more energy to do your Sparrow dodges. That's going to be important for a couple of our tricks today. And another thing to mention is that I am on an Xbox One controller, so I will describe the buttons as such in this video. If you are on a PlayStation controller, you can just use your common knowledge to interpret it over. And here is the order in which I will teach tricks in this video. We're going to go from the easiest tricks to the hardest tricks, and then at the end I'll throw in bubble skating just as a bonus. And also I will include timestamps for all of these tricks down below, and let's get started. Starting off with eager edge skating. This one I feel is the easiest because it's the most forgivable. You don't need any specific time frame. You can screw up like crazy and it would still work, and you can do it on all three classes. Although it is going to be quicker on Warlock because you can also throw an Icarus dash for even more momentum. So step 1, swap to your eager edge sword, jump, and do a light attack. Step 2 is after that light attack, you're going to want to swap weapons. Step 3 is you just jump again. So swap to your eager edge sword, jump, light attack, swap weapons, jump. And like I said, if you are on Warlock, after that final jump, you can then throw in an Icarus dash for even more momentum. And you can even keep that momentum going just by skating off the ground, by burst gliding more and more and more. Once you get that eager edge back online, you can do it again and Icarus dash again, and just go a very long distance very fast. On to trick number 2, Shatter Skating. This one is a lot easier than a lot of people think it is. So to start off, what you're gonna do is go over to your settings, go to your controller, go to custom, and then down where it says air dive ability and it says long press, you wanna change that to press. I have it on B. I think B is the most optimal because it is right next to your jump button, which should be A. And self-explanatory, but you do need to be on stasis for Shatter Dive. And then I would highly recommend Touch of Winter with Dusk-Filled Grenades because that gives you a little crystal to stand on, which you can also do Shatter Skating off of anywhere. So for this trick, you need to be right up against a ledge. Just pull out your eager edge sword and do a heavy attack off of it. Now the timing here is kind of tight, but it's still decently forgiving. So right after you do your heavy attack, you're gonna jump and then shatter dive. So you're just gonna immediately press A and B, almost simultaneously, but B slightly after A. So heavy attack, A, B, and then you go flying. It's easy as that. You can do it. Anyone can do it. Trust me. And like I said, you want to go Touch of Winter with the Dusk-Filled Grenades. So you make that little ice cube to stand on. So that gives you a ledge that you can put literally anywhere in the game. So you can shatter skate pretty much anywhere. And note that you can also shatter skate off of your Sparrow. So anywhere you can put down a Sparrow, you can also shatter skate. Next up, we got Sparrow Flying. So similar to Shatter Skating, it's a trick that looks hard, but it's way easier than you think it is. This trick will allow you to fly infinitely high into the skybox and infinitely across gaps. So you want to start by jumping into the air, pulling out your Sparrow, and then activating the destabilizers on your Sparrow by holding the right trigger for like 1 second, and then you can feel free to let it go. And you want to hold left on your thumbstick the whole entire time that you're Sparrow flying. Just hold left. So while you do this, you'll see that your Sparrow just starts spinning counterclockwise. That's what you want. Now, while you are in your Sparrow rotation and your Sparrow is completely sideways like so, that is when you want to right dash on your Sparrow. So for me, that is the right bumper. And doing so is going to propel you upward very slightly. Now just go ahead and keep holding left, never let go of left. Your Sparrow is going to then keep on rotating. Now, when your Sparrow rotates the other way, and it's completely sideways, but on the opposite side like this, that is when you're gonna hit left dash on your Sparrow, so the left bumper. And that is basically it. When your Sparrow's completely upright on the left side, you right dash, on the right side, you left dash. Just keep on spinning, keep on dashing in the upward direction. And once you run out of Sparrow energy, you just simply dismount your Sparrow, mount a new Sparrow, and do it again. Now also note that the always on time Sparrow has more energy than every other Sparrow in the game, so you can dash 6 times with it as opposed to every other Sparrow being able to dash 5 times. But I would still highly recommend dismounting your Sparrow and spawning a new one after the 5th dash, because at that part in your rotation, you have upward momentum and it makes the Sparrow flying more effective. So always dismount after the 5th dash. So I'll show a little live demonstration here. Jump up, right dash, left dash, right dash, left dash, RB, dismount, RB, LB, RB, LB, RB, dismount, RB, LB, RB, LB, RB, dismount, always after the 5th one. Next up, well skating. Now, well skating is very, very similar to shatter skating, but it's a lot less forgiving. The timing is tighter and it also uses your super, so if you screw up and accidentally place your well, you can't do it again for a while. So a trick like this would be a lot easier if you had paddles, so you can map more stuff to them and make it a lot easier to do this trick. So it's the same exact way you do shatter skating, where you do heavy attack A, B, but instead of B, you're doing a super. And for me, that's left bumper plus right bumper. So heavy attack A, left bumper, right bumper. Now, like I said, the timing for this is a lot tighter. It's a lot less forgivable. You might screw it up a little bit in practice. So I'd highly recommend practicing this in a private Crucible Mayhem game and set the super charge rate to as low as it can possibly go. Now, when you manage to land it, you can also improve it by throwing in some Icarus dashes to boost your momentum. Now, depending on how far of a gap you need to cross, you might want to do well skating with heat rises, and that's where it gets a lot tougher. Like, I have the sequence down, but it just doesn't work out for me. So I don't know if this is a lot more effective on MNK or if it's possible on controller, but even though I'm doing the inputs exactly as they are needed, it's still not working out very well for me. So this one you might need to practice on your own time, but I'll show you how to do it. So after activating your well skate, if you activate your boost glide immediately after, you will be propelled upward instead of forward. And that is the start of this. So immediately after that, you want to consume your grenade and proc heat rises. Now after that, you want to let go of your glide and then Icarus dash twice. And then you're going to want to just tap glide over and over again, like activate it, deactivate it, activate it, deactivate it, kind of just buffer it like that. And that should allow you to conserve your momentum and take you a very long distance, like crossing the King's Fall jumping puzzle, for example. Now, these are the inputs that you need to do. These are the correct inputs, but for some reason for me, it just doesn't work out in the end. Like at the end of it, it all falls flat and I lose my momentum. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Now, yes, every YouTuber tells you all the positive things. They tell you everything that you want to hear, but I'm going to be straight up transparent and honest with you. This is still a trick that I'm working on. Now, on to the big daddy of speedrun tricks, slipstreaming. This one is the toughest of all. Take it away, Maven. All right, so on to slipstreaming, and for this one, we have to do a live session here. Now, during this whole video, we've been doing post commentary, but for this one, we have to do it live because there are tons and tons of steps. So the first thing that you need to know is that there are 2 different types of slipstreaming. There is slipstreaming that is strictly used for speed, getting somewhere quickly for a speed run. And then there is infinite slipstreaming that is used to cross large gaps. And so that's what we're going to be doing here, is infinite slipstreaming. So the first step for this is that you want to go to your video settings and cap your frame rate at 30 FPS. The reason for this is because at a lower FPS, you get more hang time with your Sparrow in the air, allowing you more time to get your Sparrow charges back up so that you can keep on dodging, because dodging is very important here and self-explanatory, but we are using the always on time because we do need the destabilizers again. So we're going to need a ledge to boost off of pretty obviously as normal. And the first step here is that when we boost off the ledge, we are going to hold our destabilizers, which is the right trigger, and then we're going to pull down on our controller stick to make the nose of our Sparrow tilt upwards. Not exactly 90 degrees, but around 75, 80 degrees, like so. Destabilizers, hold down, make the Sparrow's nose go up. So that is the first step here. Not exactly as back as I did it there, but kind of like 75-ish degrees. I'll show another example, like about so. Like a little bit up, not exactly straight up, but a little bit up. So that is step number 1. Step number 2 is when you get to that point, you are going to want to tilt down left, diagonal down left on your controller stick so that you can pull your Sparrow diagonal this way. See, and then my Sparrow, you can see that it pops back up into pretty much neutral position when I do that. I'll show it again right here. So I'm going to start by holding down, and then down left, Sparrow goes back up to neutral, straight up position like I started. That's what we want. Now I'll show a little screenshot right here, a little freeze frame, is that when we are in that rotating animation, once our Sparrow gets to a certain point like this, we want to then click left boost. So I'll show you here. Diagonal left boost. That's what we do. And that is the sort of the cycle that we're going to repeat over and over again, and that's how we're going to slipstream. But now here's where the next part comes in. When we hit that left boost, we're going to let go of every other control. Just completely take your fingers off all your buttons. Just completely let go of everything. So boost, let go. So once again, down, diagonal, let go of everything after the dash, after the left dash right there when we're in our turning rotation. So after you hit that left dash, what you're going to do is re-engage destabilizers, and you're going to hit diagonal down left again. You don't have to boost your Sparrow any longer with your left trigger, and you don't have to hold down anymore, because holding down is only what you do at the start of your slipstream. But for now, after that left boost is initiated, that first left boost, is we're just going to just go with destabilizers down left, destabilizers down left. And every time we hit that point in our rotation, we are going to left dash. So down, left dash, let go, dash, 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 dash. And I'm just constantly re-engaging destabilizers and down left. So once again, to recap, tilt up, diagonal left, dash, down left, dash, down left, dash, down left, dash, down left, dash. And we're just repeating that. It's really, really simple. So that alone is going to take a lot of practice. It might take you a few hours to get that. Now the next part of the sequence is going to be to repeat that to cross a large gap. Now that part alone is going to take days, if not weeks, to learn. So I don't blame you if you just bookmark this video and come back to it later. But anyways, what you're going to learn after days and days of practicing this is that the time in your turning diagonal rotation that you hit your left boost is going to dictate how your slipstream turns out. So I'll just pull up that screenshot again. So as you're rotating, if you boost early in the rotation, you are going to build speed and distance. And if you boost later in the rotation, when your Sparrow is very, very upright, or maybe a slight bit past that, you are going to gain height. So what you want to do to infinite slipstream is combine the two, because once you're flying through the air constantly and repeating the rotation, you're going to have 6 dodges that you can use. You're going to use a few of them to build speed and distance, and then you're going to use a few of them to boost you upward. So you want to dash early with some of the boosts and dash later with some of the boosts to build height, so that you get that air time, so that you can just sit there floating around, recharge your Sparrow dodges, and repeat the loop. Now I'll show a little example here of maintaining the loop. Now note that at your starting one, you have to spend some energy to do your Sparrow dash like that. So you only get 5 air dodges on the first one, but every subsequent one you get 6. And so on the first one, I like to start with a lot of height so that I can rebuild my Sparrow charges back. So that is something to note. And then when you are like spinning in the air, when you're recharging your Sparrow, you still want to use your destabilizers and hit down left, because you want to maintain your angle. You want to maintain that rotation, but don't go too fast. If you notice yourself going too fast, then you can go ahead and skip the destabilizer down left for a rotation. Just make sure you maintain a consistent rotation speed. You don't want to go too fast or too slow. So here we go. And I gotta say, I am not an expert at this. I am just as much of a casual at this as you are. I know how to do it. It's just I'm still practicing. So right there, I only had 5 dodges. I didn't wait long enough. So my angle's a little messed up, so I'm gonna turn my camera. And that's another thing I gotta explain, is if you wanna turn, if you don't like the angle at which you're flying, you simply just gotta turn your camera. Don't like turn your Sparrow, don't turn your controller stick or anything. Just turn your camera and adjust slightly. All right, I gotta get a lot of height here to make that gap. All right, I need some more height. Give me some more height. Nope, almost made it. I didn't have enough height there. Kind of lost a lot of momentum. You really cannot have any room for error with infinite slipstreaming. Like, you can make maybe one mistake during your flight, but other than that, you really got to make sure you got down your angles and everything, or else it just all goes wrong. So it takes a lot of practice, and I'm still practicing this myself. As you can see, I still have a long way to go to become a master at this. It takes patience. You may give up and then come back to it months later. That's fine. I did the same thing. It takes a lot of patience. So just an example here, I'm gonna fly to the right. And like I said, if you wanna change the direction in which you're flying, just slowly but surely ease your camera over to the direction in which you are going. You don't wanna like mess with your destabilizer position, because that dictates like, you know, if your Sparrow flight is successful, you know? So I'm just turning my camera to the left slowly but surely. And that'll make me start flying to the left. All right, my camera's all out of whack here. I messed up my angle. All right, well, I'm landing right here. So be it. So as you can see, it's tough. It takes a lot of practice. I was just showing rotating around, turning the camera, and changing my angle, and it looks like I turned a little bit too much there. Now, like I said at the start of this, there are two different types of slipstreaming. There's the infinite slipstreaming, which we just went over, and then there's the one strictly for speed. Now, the one for speed, you're not trying to take it all the way across a large gap. You're not trying to build a bunch of height so you can regain your Sparrow charges. So in the rotation, you want to boost early as opposed to boosting later in your rotation, because when you boost later, you build height. If you boost earlier, you build speed. So I'll show an example. So you started the same exact way, except you boost a little bit earlier in your rotation because you're not trying to build height. You're simply just trying to build speed and get across this particular gap quicker. So, same thing, really. And finally, on to the bonus trick of the day, bubble skating. I wanted to give Titans a little bit of love in this video, at least, because it's been all about warlocks and hunters. So for bubble skating, it is probably the easiest trick of this video. It's just random, and it doesn't always work. So similar to shatter skating and well skating, you need to be near a ledge, you need to pull out your sword and do a heavy attack. Now, you do not need to jump after the heavy attack, you don't need to press A, all you have to do is simply just press super. Now, it is very, very finicky, and I feel like the angle at which you look at affects it, but some people might not think so. But for me, it's been working better when I aim a little bit down, like not completely straight forward, but to a slight degree downward. And then you just right trigger and super. So R and then left bumper plus right bumper. Now, it's almost at the same exact time that you want a heavy attack and super. But you know, the super is slightly after, like very, very delayed, but like almost simultaneously. It's like a very, very quick timing. Now, the reason this is a bonus trick in the video and not an actual trick is because it's completely random. It's not really feasible to do this in a speedrun unless you're going for some insane world record and trying to hit the lottery. So it's only really something cool to just show your friends. So that is going to wrap it up for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer. Like I said in the intro, if you want to learn how to use all of these tricks learned in this video in very advanced and different ways, I'd highly recommend going and checking out G Miner's channel. They have a lot of great tutorials. Now go out there and have some fun. These are all very commonly used tricks that you can use on a daily basis to speed up your grinding process in Destiny 2. So I would highly recommend mastering these tricks. So I hope this video has helped you out. If it did, be sure to hit the like button and drop a comment, because interacting with the video in those different kinds of ways really helps it out and helps the algorithm. And if you happen to have any buddies who you grind Destiny 2 with, or you might want to learn these tricks as well, consider sharing this video with them. It'd be greatly appreciated. And consider subscribing if you're new. It'd be great to have you here. And with that, I will catch you in the next video. See you later.